6 times drama overshadowed Premier League matches including Lasagna-gate. Tottenham's trip to West Ham on Sunday is a fixture that has delivered fireworks on the pitch over the years. But it's also a fixture that has produced dramatics off the field, too. Back in 2005, Spurs headed into the game sat in 4th spot, knowing that they would secure Champions League football as long as they bettered Arsenal's result. Unfortunately, disaster struck as the Spurs squad were struck by illness, much to the glee of Arsenal and West Ham fans. Here, Daily Star Sport takes a look at 6 Premier League games that have been overshadowed by the drama off the pitch rather than the events on it. The scene is set. Spurs are finally set to finish above their arch-rivals, Arsenal, in the Premier League for the first time in years, and in doing so, pip them to a Champions League place. But Tottenham were left sick, literally, after failing to do so. A dodgy pre-match lasagna in their hotel the night before left Spurs without a host of names, with many more playing on despite their dodgy stomachs. Martin Joel's side fell to a 2-1 defeat at West Ham, leaving the coast clear for Arsenal to gleefully pip their bitter foes to European football. It was later revealed that Spurs tried to get the game postponed, but to no avail, so had to play for fear of a points deduction. Lasagne and spaghetti bolognese were on the menu, we ate, and then in the middle of the night we started dropping like flies, ex-Spurs star Jermaine Jenas told Sky Sports. It was mayhem. Despite playful conspiracy theories surrounding Arsenal fans sabotaging the meal, the Marriott Hotel in London were cleared of any wrongdoing, not that the verdict made any Spurs fans or players feel any better. What do you think is the biggest off-field scandal in Premier League history? Let us know in the comments section below. Without a doubt, John Terry's alleged affair with Wayne Bridges' ex-partner Vanessa Parental was one of the biggest scandals in Premier League history. The duo had spent years at Chelsea together before Bridge departed for Manchester City in 2009, shortly before reports first emerged linking Terry and Parental, causing a huge storm in the English game. Terry and Bridge are still not on speaking terms, and the situation garnered a lot of attention despite it being confirmed since that no affair took place. Before the Premier League clash between the two sides, speculation had reached a fever point over whether or not Bridge would accept Terry's offer of a handshake before the match. The fact there was a football match afterward seemed to have almost been forgotten. Nobody had to wait long to get an answer on the day, as Bridge boldly strode past his former teammate as if he'd never existed. It was a scenario that ultimately cost Bridge his England career too, as he ended up calling time on his international availability to avoid the prospect of lining up alongside Terry. Newcastle United may be the richest club in the world, following their £305 million takeover earlier this month, but there are some things money can't buy. Like seeing your manager headbutt another player. That's what happened back in 2014 when Toon boss Pardew reacted angrily to being barged out of the way by Hull City midfielder David Mailer. Pardew took exception and sensationally aimed a headbutt at the Hull ace, who exploded in anger. As tensions boiled over on the sideline, Pardew was given his marching orders and sent to the stands. Pardew apologized after the match, but insisted his actions didn't amount to an actual headbutt. After leading Hull to the Premier League, Brown had overseen a remarkable start to the season. The Tigers were sat in 6th place on Boxing Day, but a Manchester City mauling was the beginning of the end for Hull in their maiden Premier League season. After seeing his side ship 4 goals in the opening 45 minutes, Brown ordered his shell-shocked team to remain on the pitch for a public shaming rather than a motivational team talk. Following Brown's remarkable act, the Tigers won just once more all season as they narrowly escaped relegation on the final day of the season. And how did Brown mark that achievement? He serenaded the entire KC Stadium with a crooning session at full time. Jimmy Bullard mocked Brown's act in an iconic celebration that Brown took with good humor the following year, before he was eventually sacked in March, following a fallout with the then Hull chairman, Adam Pearson. Norwich City co-owner Smith is known by many for her culinary skills, but back in 2005, she was ushered onto the Carrow Road pitch and urged to cook up a storm. The Canaries had blown a 2-goal lead against Manchester City and were entrenched in the Premier League drop zone. Smith did her best to rally the troops ahead of a huge second half, but instead ensured that she'd go down in Premier League history for one of the most hilarious moments ever. A message for the best football supporters in the world. We need a 12th man here, Smith urged. Where are you? Where are you? Let's be even you. Come on. It was utterly sensational television, and Sky Sports bosses could probably hardly believe their luck. Unfortunately, for Norwich and Smith, City ended up losing the game 3-2, and went on to crash out of the top flight in gut-wrenching fashion on the final day of the season, following a 6-0 stuffing by Fulham. It takes a lot to strike up a rivalry out of nowhere, but that's exactly what happened between West Ham and Sheffield United back in 2007. Sheffield United were relegated on the final day of the season after West Ham sealed a remarkable run of results to save themselves from being dumped out of the Premier League. Much of that was due to the form of Carlos Tevez, who, it later transpired, had joined the Hammers along with Javier Mascherano illegally, as the deals were in breach of the Premier League's rules on third-party ownership. Understandably incensed after being relegated by a rival thanks to a player who they shouldn't have been able to sign, United launched a legal bid. But the Hammers escaped with a huge fine, not the points deduction that the Blades were gunning for. It remains a sore point to some United fans to this day, and it also remains one of the Premier League's most controversial episodes.